See ya.
And it ain't really nasty. It ain't too nasty.
Is it a preacher joke?
That shit, I don't know. All right, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
This guy was laying in the hospital bed in a hospital, and the nurse come in, and this guy was beat up. He had teeth knocked out. He had bandages all over his arms and his hands and his mouth. Just, he was in terrible shape. And the nurse said, "What in the world happened to you?" He said, "Well, I got the biggest surprise of my life."
Oh.
When this happened. She said, "Well, what happened?" He said, "Well, he barely could talk because his mouth was damaged and everything." He said, I was over at one of my friend's house in the bed with his wife, and said he went to beating on the door, and she said, "That's my husband, you're going to have to hide." So the only thing I could think of doing is raising the window and jumping out and hanging on the windowsill like this. And said he come right to that and pulled that window down. Said he come right to that window. The nurse said, "Oh, that was what surprised you." He said, No, that ain't what surprised me. I expected him to do that." And he said, "Well, what did surprise you?" He said, "He raised that window and said he went to hit me in the jaw with his fist and raised his foot up and started kicking me in the chin with his heel, and said that's how I broke so many teeth out." And she said, "Oh, that surprised you?" He said, No, that didn't really surprise me." He said, "I expected him to do that." And then she said, "Well, what did surprise you?" He said, "Well, he went from that."
Don't forget the punchline.
Ah, shit, I ain't forgot the punchline, but I forgot the middle of it. She said, then he went to, he was beating me like everything, and he's just kicking me and everything like that. And she said, "Well, what surprised you?" He said, "Well, I turned my head sideways to spit my teeth out so I wouldn't swallow them, and said I was about that high off the ground." That's it.